The American let down the wooden flat regretfully. "We'll be missed." As her boots echoed down the washbacks, she passed a beefy man at the door.
"Farrell, lad, a wee 5-minute tour and you're away."
Farrell. She remembered his name. Farrell waited, not wanting to walk with her. He'd no desire to violate the intimacy of their brief debauch with the disappointing whine of an American tourist. His head cleared. The last 2 minutes had encapsulated his life. The giddy rise and fall of it. Excessive indulgence to excessive discipline. And that was substances, though women the same. The clasping of hands over tables, the grappling in the back of taxis, the sweaty riot in the hotel, so quickly giving way to veiled excuses, impossible schedules, the dread cold quiet of a woman's phone unrung. Increasingly, he had an eye outside the abandon, the desperate swings. All he could see was pattern, and in this way nothing changed. It was harder and harder to perceive anything at all as actually happening. Estrin Lancaster was not the only American on this tour. The piping comments of just the couple she longed to escape had led her to bottling. The two were Northeasterners, though Estrin could no longer decode their accents into states. Abroad the better part of 10 years now, Estrin was growing stupid about her own country, and had to admit that while she ploughed her Moto Guzzi over the Middle East, she hadn't a clue what was going on in Pennsylvania. And that this, like any ignorance, was no claim to fame. Rather, she'd made a trade-off, a real important trade-off, because there was a way you could know the place you were born that you never got a crack at anywhere else, and Estrin didn't have that chance anymore. These years her access to US news had been spotty, and lately, when Americans glommed onto her, a national characteristic, she didn't get their jokes. She was currently following the Birmingham 6 appeal, with all the unlikelihood of a British reversal. The more miserable the evidence on which the 6 Irishmen were convicted, the more certain the decision would remain, for didn't people defend their weakest opinions with the most violence? Yet Estrin barely skimmed articles about presidential primaries in the States. She knew she was lost when, in her Irish Times, she no longer understood Doonesbury. The detachment had become disquieting. "Did you notice all those L's and R's on people's cars, Dale? Do you suppose that means loyalist and Republican?" Estrin flinched. The stickers meant learner and restricted, and she saw locals look to each other and smile. No one corrected the woman's mistake. Estrin didn't either. Simply, she didn't want to be seen with them. Sheer badness. Americans embarrassed her. They made no distinction between what came into their heads and what came out. An endless stream of petty desires and ill-examined impressions dribbling from a hole in the face. The affliction amounted to mental incontinence.
"Better you're not seen running after me, McBride," said Farrell coldly to the man in the doorway. "Only tourists, that was the idea." "We were to run into each other. You're getting sloppy." "Successful. Seen off with Farrell O'Phelan. I'll survive. You're such a chameleon, I paint you the colour I like. More harm done you, I'd think." "On the contrary, one of my accomplishments, one of the many," said McBride pleasantly, "is I can be seen with whomever I like." "Everyone knows we were mates back." "Everyone was everyone's mate back," said Farrell. "What makes this place so sordid?" "Quite a lolly passed me at the door," McBride observed, moving on to more interesting business. "All that black leather. Wouldn't have to dress her up like." "Young for you," said Farrell distractedly. "Looks old enough to know how." "Haven't you your hands full with—" McBride raised a finger as they drew within earshot of the group. "Now that is sloppy." Estrin knew bad work, so she recognized the strain in their guide's patter. He injected his information.